Welcome back to From the Shed End, episode 163 of the podcast. Myself, Theo, the other Theo, Darmish. How you doing?
Yes, guys. How's it going, man? How's it going? Yeah, still on a high from Roadclaw, man. Still on a high from Roadclaw. I'm knackered. I'm still deprived of sleep, man. But it is what it is, man. I'm here. We've got the energy still, man, for the Chelsea. But yeah, big up to you boys as well.
Yeah, it's always good to see a trophy get lifted, regardless of what trophy it is. So we've got to take the small wins. Theo, how you doing?
I'm good, yeah. I spent some time in the sun in the garden today and my allergies have just massively picked up. So I've been taking an antihistamine and trying to stay clear of hay fever. But other than that, like Darmesh, still on the high, cloud nine from Poland last week, soaking up all the kind of like post-match images and vibes that have been posted on social media. Yeah, and it's nice to kind of like finish the season on the high. How are you doing, Theo?
I'm good. I'm good like yourselves, happy with the win. Good end to a season after what could have been a really poor season. If you think about not qualifying for Champions League, not lifting the Conference League, there's a lot of transfer activity going on, which I'm sure we'll talk about in the next video, maybe the next couple of days. But there seems to be a lot going on in terms of players that we're linked with, players going out of the club. First signing in the door. I think Liam Delap's signed, sealed, and delivered 30 million. So I'm looking forward to it. And then we've got the Club World Cup around the corner, so it's even better as well. So I can't complain is what I'm trying to say in a nutshell. But tonight's episode, if you're joining us live, is all about the player awards. It's all about the players that have done well, the flops of the season, the goals of the season, the moment of the season. There's a lot of categories to get through. But if you're new, we are one subscriber. Hopefully, we've got a couple of people joining us on the live already. If you're one of those people and you've not subscribed, just smash that subscribe button until we get to 800 subscribers. We're one away from it, so let's get it done tonight. But should we just crack on straight away? Should we go through the full list of all the categories that we're running through, as I've just skimmed through a couple of them? So we've got player of the season, flop of the season, goal of the season, unsung hero, signing of the season, most improved player, young player of the season, game of the season, moment of the season. So if you're on the live stream, while we're recording, start thinking, get ready to throw your comments, your picks in the chat as well. And again, audio listeners, drop your comments on Instagram or Twitter after the live stream as well. But let's head straight into it. I don't know if is there going to be any etiquette in terms of how we do this, or are we just gonna? Well, Theo's top of my screen, so Theo's right next to me.
Yeah,
do it in that order. We'll just go, and then we'll rotate it the other way in the next one. So Theo goes first this time.
I'm kind of hoping we're all going to be in agreement for a few of these, though, because I feel there's some that kind of almost pick themselves. But player of the season, that's the first category. I've gone with the player that's won the award, the official award with Chelsea Football Club, and that's Moises Caicedo. I think he's had an absolutely fantastic season, and he's topped it off with a goal to make it 4-1 in Roarclaw. I just feel like back end of last season he was good, but this season he was absolutely fantastic, instrumental in midfield. Really good at kind of breaking up play. Like I've kind of compared him to N'Golo Kante a few times. He just seems really versatile. He's proved that he can play in midfield. He can prove they can play in a hybrid kind of right back role when needed to fill in for Reece James or Malo Gusto. He's had the highest tackles in all of the Premier League this season with 126. Had 68 of those tackles won, 54 interceptions, 28 blocks, 70 fouls committed. But that tends to happen when you're a midfielder. And total passes, he's had 1,624 with 1,467 completed, which gives him a pass completion rate of just over 90%. Just kind of skimming through those numbers, they seem to be solid. So yeah, really well deserved for our player of the season. I just feel like he's the type of guy as well that's just going to continuously improve. I'm not sure you saw the video on Twitter today, but he got a hero's reception from his Ecuadorian teammates when he went on national duty. But yeah, definitely a player that we almost don't really talk about the price tag anymore, and my worthy player of the season.
Yeah, he's mine as well. So I think it's easy to it's easy to sort of at the start of the season, a lot of the price tag was battered around and how much we paid for him, but he's given us the money he's returned back just in one season. I think the only thing I will say about him, and I think it will come with time, is I want to see him score a few more goals. I want him to contribute a little bit more. I know that's not his role in the team, but I think the way that we play, the way that Maresca's got this team playing, and if we don't bring in another striker, bar Liam Delap and Nicholas Jackson, Mark Gui as well, if he stays, we're going to have to get goals from other areas of the pitch. And everyone's going to have to chip in next season with goals. So I know he's not in the team to do that, but I think he has to contribute more. Defensively, he's brilliant, but I'd love to see him just, as we did in the Conference League final, if you get the ball on the edge of the box, just take a hit. So what's the worst that can happen? Rosette.
It's a bit like Rodri as well. Obviously, we're not comparing the two in that sense, but we see Rodri have more of a goal threat as well, where teams have to sort of rethink about who they're going to mark in the box or who they're trying to stop, basically. So you'll see 100%. That's we want to see more sort of goal up, but that's literally like for us, that's probably like nitpicking out like what can Caicedo do. But yeah, he's generally just been he's been sensational this season for us. I mean, like you both touched upon, like you both explained the reasons like perfectly as well. Took the words out of my mouth, to be fair. So yeah, big up to you guys as well. So, yeah, I mean, like for me anyway, I wanted him to be club captain, but just because of the uncertainty of Reece's fitness. But I think he's showing a bit more leadership qualities as well, and that's another area where he'll grow and develop as well. So, yeah, massive shout out to Caicedo, man. Let's just hope we don't run into the ground like we did with Kante and have a situation where he's going to be injury prone in a few seasons' time, and we actually look after him and have him like fit and healthy for most games. So yeah, and also, guys, there's a bit of news, not regarding Chelsea, but it's quite big to be fair. But Brahim Mbeumo has decided he wants to join Man United. David Ornstein just tweeted that now. So yeah, it's all happening today, isn't it? So yeah.
Yeah. I agree with you. I'm taking it yours is Moises Caicedo as well, Darmish. You
Yes, bro. Yeah. Mine is Moises Caicedo as well. Yeah.
So I think I think with Kante, I think the problem is that he was expected to do a lot in that team. I think if we can keep Lavia fit, we can keep Enzo fit. We've got Andre Santos coming in. We should have depth in that midfield to be able to rotate him, rest him. He doesn't have to play the Carabao Cup games or FA Cup or a midweek Premier League game. You'd expect to rest Caicedo, keep him fresh for the big games, Champions League games as well. So I think hopefully we're not in a situation where Kante was being literally ran into the ground, and we can see more of Moises Caicedo next season.
You mentioned it that the one thing that we'd like to see him do more is score, and we know he's got that in his locker as well. I mean, the goal against 100%. United, the goal in the final in Poland, and the 2 disallowed goals against Tottenham, home and away as well. Very unfortunate to have those disallowed, but they were cracking strikes. So yeah, hopefully next season he can just shoot a bit more, and I'm sure he'll get at least maybe 5 or 6 goals next season.
Let's hope so. Let's move on to one of the categories that I love doing, the flop of the season. So Darmish, we'll let you go first on this one.
Yeah, do you know what? I was debating between 2 players for this one. But I think mainly just because of the frustration that he's brought me with how the season's gone and my sort of expectations. I've gone for Robert Sanchez as flop of the season, just because I know that might be a bit different to maybe what you guys have picked, or you picked the same. I don't know that, but for me, I've gone for Robert Sanchez. I can't ignore how poor he's been for most of the season, and the goals that he's cost us and some of the points that he's cost us as well, where we could have been even higher up in the table. And if we want to get to where we used to be, Robert Sanchez isn't the answer for us. So I know he had a good sort of end to the season, a good month to the end of the season, but if we're being true to ourselves, I don't think he's the quality of goalkeeper that we need to take ourselves to the next level. If we're playing Champions League football next season, I still don't trust Robert Sanchez to get us through games and win us points as frequently as he's done this season. Like, I mean, the games where he sort of won us points that I've sort of stuck to my head are probably Bournemouth away, where I thought is his best performance of the season, out of any other game, and I believe the Leicester City game as well at home, and even I guess the Nottingham Forest game at home where we got a draw. So those are only notable games that I could say that he's like won us points in, and hasn't really saved us that much in that sense. I know obviously Liverpool, he was in goal for that, he was good, but he didn't really save us in some way. Like Liverpool weren't really that much of a threat. United weren't a threat either. And yeah, I'd have to go Robert Sanchez, unfortunately. But Yeah.
What's your thoughts, Theo, on that? I mean, did you feel that's a bit? I think he's had a good second half of the season, personally. But what do you think, Theo?
Yeah, I feel like we discussed this on the previous episode. I feel like since that quite noticeable mistake at the Etihad back in January, he's slightly redeemed himself. Darmesh mentioned those games where he saved us the points. Bournemouth away, I think it was Everton at home as well, where he was the man of the match and made some huge saves. But other than that, he has been frustrating. He's struggled to play with the ball at his feet. His distribution's been poor. But like you correctly pointed out, Theo, I feel like maybe March onwards, he hasn't really done anything for me that's been that noticeable. And also just the modern day keeper needs to adapt now to be able to play with the ball at his feet. His distribution needs to be good. He's almost like an 11th outfield player. But mine isn't a goalkeeper. I just feel like it's quite easy just to point the finger to a goalkeeper or maybe a striker who's been misfiring. I've gone with a player who set the bar so high last season. And we almost were all agreeing that makes us feel like we don't miss Reece James that much. And that's Malo Gusto. Because I feel like this season, he's just really, his form's just dropped off a cliff. I feel like he's really struggled to adapt to this inverted right back role where he just slots into midfield when we're in possession, something that Reece James and Cucurella have done so well. And at times it feels like he's not trusted by Maresca as well. We've seen Trevor Chalobah play right back. We've seen Disasi play right back when Disasi, before his loan to Aston Villa.
Yeah.
And it just feels like it's a shame because it was a player I had such high expectations for, and I still do. But this season, it's almost like he took one step forward last season and then two steps backwards this season. But I'm hoping that he is able to rediscover his form over the summer, because we are going to need him next season with the Champions League football and all the domestic cups as well.
Yeah, I think it's
a good shout to me.
It's a good shout. It is a good shout. I think he's definitely one that I remember when Reece James was injured and he was a breath of fresh air to watch, Malo Gusto. But I don't know if it's a confidence thing, whether he's carrying an injury or just something seems to have changed. Even not was obviously early in the mind with the final recently. He had a really shocking game in that final, but there's been other instances throughout the season where he's just not been the Malo Gusto. Maybe it's because he's also been asked to invert into that midfield, and I don't think he can play that role. And maybe he's just a natural fullback who likes to bomb up and down the wing. So maybe that is it. But yeah, for me, I think that's a really good shout because he's just not been good enough this season. And as you said, Moises Caicedo's played right back. Chalobah's played there. Achiampong's played there as well. It does, he's almost been shoehorned into a left back at times as well. So yeah, I don't think, I think that's a really good shout, to be honest.
Who was your nomination for the flop of the season?
Mine is, I had two. I had Jadon Sancho first of all, because I still think he's been a flop, but I've gone with Christopher Nkunku. I think
that was my other choice. Yeah.
I was thinking it could be either or. I mean, Jadon Sancho for me just hasn't done enough. I think I've said on here before on the podcast, for me, the 5 million to get him back to United seems the more sensible option rather than pay 25 million for him, then try and sell him on in 2 or 3 years. But I've gone with Christopher Nkunku just because I don't think he's had opportunities this season. He's played a lot in the Conference League. He hasn't played as much in the Premier League, but when he's given opportunities in the Premier League, he hasn't taken them. And I think if you want to be a regular starter in a Chelsea team that is mix and matching all the time in, the key areas on the wide areas, he's been played as a 9 before, that hasn't worked. He hasn't essentially played the 10 because of Cole Palmer taking that spot. But even when he's done that and he's been playing as a 10, he's not lit up the game. There's not a game that I can think of and I thought, right, Nkunku's done amazing in that game and it's outstanding. From the levels that we expected him to come into from, the Bundesliga, and he's coming to this Chelsea squad, he should be one of the players that we're building a team around. Wasn't he? He was top goal scorer in the Bundesliga. And to come into this squad, which is disjointed, very young, inexperienced team, and still not look like a player that can progress and be better, season after season. And the fact he wants to leave now, he's clearly come out, said he wants to leave. He wanted to leave in January. The body language tells you that he wants to leave. Maresca's clearly had enough of him. He's not been picked. So I think for me, lack of goals, lack of commitment, lack of creating chances, lack of assists, I could go on. When was the last time we got to see the balloon? It's been a while. So You know, I think for me, he has to be the flop of the season, and the money that we paid for him as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was my second
and I think
choice.
we all had like expectations as well, like you said as well. When he was fit again, like at the start of the season, I think most of us fans were like, "Oh, like we get to see what Nkunku's like." So I guess with the hype of it, yeah, which is fair. That's why that was sort of my other choice other than Sanchez would have been Nkunku. But yeah, that's both your points are fair. To be fair, for Gusto and for Nkunku.
Yeah, it's good shouts all round. It's good shouts all round. Goal of the season. I think does this come to me? I think I'll
You
I'll
go
take this
first,
one
bro.
first.
Go on.
I'll take this first. So I've gone for I wrote down. I had a couple, but I've gone with Cole Palmer's goal against. It was early in the season. I think it might have been August. Brilliant chip from outside the box. I don't know if you both remember that.
Against
brilliant
Wolves,
goal.
wasn't it?
Wolves, yeah. So I think I've gone with that one because I was looking at a couple of them today, and I was like, that. I think it won goal of the month. I think actually that goal that for that month. So I've gone with Cole Palmer's chip against Wolves. The time when Cole Palmer was being Cole Palmer and didn't sort of, you know, have a dip in form. But I think for me that's my goal of the season. What do you think, Darmish? What are you going with?
Do you know what? It took me a while to think about this one because we've actually scored quite a few goals this season. But the one I've gone for is I think one where I was just in the stadium and I was just like, wow, like I can't believe he's done that is the Palmer free kick against Brighton. I believe that was at the hat trick goal or the second goal. I think it was. I can't remember which goal of his it actually was, but yeah, his free kick. I mean, was unreal, unbelievable. Not in a million years did I think you could score from there, and the distance and the range as well of the free kick was sensational, and it came at a good time for us in the season as well when we were playing well. So yeah, I just about edged that one over a couple of other goals that I was thinking of, but yeah, I've gone for the Palmer free kick against Brighton earlier in the season at home.
It's not a bad shout.
Yeah.
What have you gone
I
for,
was
Phil?
thinking of that one too. I've gone for the one that was on the final match of the day on last week. It's the Nicholas Jackson one against Newcastle. Not so much the finish, but the build up to the goal for me was just fantastic. It was the one where I think Palmer puts a long ball through to Neto. Neto controls it, drives it down the pitch, jumps over. I think it's Botman who tries to tackle him down, and then just squares it across to Palmer. And not Palmer, sorry, Jackson, and Jackson taps it in. So it's just almost that link up between Palmer, Neto, and Jackson, and how quickly it happened. And it just seemed to really catch Newcastle by surprise. I think at the time as well, we realised that goal was so valuable to us as well because it helped us beat Newcastle 2-1, 3 points. And it was in that period where we were still on a high in October. People had us down as title contenders. And it just felt like everything was clicking for Maresca. But yeah, I feel like the two other goals you mentioned were definitely up there for me. I seem to remember one, I think, from Mudryk against Noah as well. Sure, it was just
it was outside the box. It was like I think it surprised him. I think Mudryk was a bit surprised he scored it.
Yeah, he was surprised himself, but he was probably taking some kind of performance-enhancing drug at the time. But I think Mudryk's goal against Noah, I think Tosin scored a really good one against Morecambe.
Barrow, wasn't it?
Well.
Yeah.
Other
goals I want to mention. Yeah, other goals I want to mention as well is the Caicedo goal at Old Trafford. I thought that was brilliant. That was on my mind as well. The volley and both Jadon Sancho goals, the one against Tottenham and the one against Ipswich as well. I thought they were both quality goals. And then even Nicholas Jackson's goal against was it Jurgen Garden away, where he just rolls it onto his left foot and then slaps it top corner on his weak foot. That was also quality as well.
Yeah, there's been some
goals.
Some decent goals this season. I think, like you've both mentioned as well, I think it's something we've lacked, you know, over the last couple of seasons. You know, we've always been creating chances, but we haven't really been essentially scoring as many goals as we have this season in recent times under this new ownership. So I think, for me, it's good to see that we have got goal scorers and it's not just Nicholas Jackson that we're relying on. You know, I think Cole Palmer ended all comps with 15, was it? Probably more? Can't remember. You know, Madueke's got a couple in there as well. Enzo Fernandez is picking up goals now, which is another thing that he's got to his game. He's driving forward in scoring goals. So I think for me, I think the fact that we're scoring these goals now, we just need to add a striker who can get us those 20 goals a season and push us hopefully to a Premier League or a Champions League or something like that. Because I think there's quality amongst the players. You know, we're talking about some brilliant goals that we've seen this season. Imagine if we had a brilliant goal scorer in terms of a number 9 to chip in and help get us through the line to a Premier League or something like that next season. Could happen. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to speak into existence. It could happen. Unsung hero. Next category. Who's up for this one first?
I think Theo, man. I think he's
yeah. I'll go. Yeah. I've gone for a player that was almost frozen out last summer. Wasn't taken on the preseason tour. Wasn't given a shirt number. His number 14 was given to Joao Felix, and then all of a sudden gets to January. Badiashiel's injured, Fofana's injured, Disasi sent out on loan to Aston Villa. We've got a bit of a centre-back crisis, and we recall him from Crystal Palace, and that's Trevor Chalobah. He comes back with a shirt number 23. He doesn't complain, doesn't whinge, puts in a man-of-the-match performance the next day against Wolverhampton Wanderers. And then from then onwards, he was just really, really solid for us. It feels crazy giving kind of unsung hero to a player that was only with us for 5 months. But for me, it's just kind of his overall kind of attitude, the way he's never really, like I said, never whinged, never complained, never... Even last summer when things were basically really unfair for him, he just kept his head up and played his football out at Crystal Palace, came back to Chelsea, won us the Conference League, was really, really solid. And I think our best partnership throughout the season has been Chalobah alongside maybe Colwill, or maybe when Fofana's been alongside Colwill. But I say unsung hero because we obviously talk about Cucurella, Palmer, Caicedo, but I feel like Chalobah last season and this season deserves a lot of credit for the matches that he has played. So he, for me, is my unsung hero.
Yeah, I'd have to say the same. I'd have to go with the same. I think he's someone that just the thought of us losing a player like Trevor Chalobah, who's probably our best centre back, if we're being honest. I'd have him ahead of Fofana. I'd have him ahead of Badiashile, Disasi. I'd have him ahead of Colwill. He's our best centre back, and we're gonna allow him to leave the club in the summer. For me, it's just. I get it, pure profit and all the rest of it, and you know the club want to recoup some money for a player that they've not paid any money for. But when you think about how good he is at the back, how calm he is, hardly puts a foot wrong. He's my unsung hero as well. So I thought I'd just get that in there. But just to see an academy graduate leave the club in a way that he's going to potentially leave, like you said, Theo, get frozen out as well, not be on the preseason tour, told not to come to the senior team's training sessions and train elsewhere. You don't treat someone like that who's given a lot of their years to a club. It just doesn't sit right with me. But yeah, he's my unsung hero. But Darmash, have you got something separate, different?
Yes, I've gone for a different player, and just on Chalobah as well. I mean, like, it's just baffling how we obviously started off the season without him, and our form defensively was rubbish, and then all of a sudden when we bring him in, we've got the 3rd best defense in the league, we ended up having that, and that's mainly because of him, to be honest with you. So I wish Trev would stay. I do think my gut says he will stay. I really hope he does, and I think there's probably debate whether him or Fofana are best centre backs in terms of when they're both fit, but they're both quality centre backs. I think there's no doubt when they're both fit, that's probably our best centre back partnership. But yeah, definitely Trevor Chalobah's been a revelation for us. I think he's the main reason why we've got the 3rd best defense in the league. So, big shout out to him. But the unsung hero I've gone for is I just had to get his name in somehow. Was Cucurella. I've gone for Cucurella for unsung hero. I mean, it's weird because he's not really unsung, but at the same time, like, he's popped up with a lot of key goals for us, and he's single-handedly sort of helped us get Champions League football in some way where. The goals that he scored are absolutely crucial. I mean, the goal against Leicester, the goal against Everton, I believe, as well. Those were 2 crucial goals for us, where there were narrow 1-0 wins. And yeah, just his leadership on the pitch, the drive, the passion he gives, the annoyance, I guess he gives to other teams as well. He's like our Bruno Fernandes in some sense, where everyone has a player that they hate from other clubs. Like for me, Bruno Fernandes is one of those players you just absolutely despise, you hate. Like we've got that player in us in Cucurella. Like other opposition team probably hate like Cucurella like that. and I love him for it, man. Honestly, he's honestly turned it around so much as well. I remember the start of the last season, there was links with Man United, there were boos in the stadium when we were playing Wimbledon at home. I still remember, I could go back to that game where I was first started. It was absolutely shocking, and the whole of Stamford Bridge were booing every time they got the ball. And
I think that's
all,
that to me though. That's exactly what's wrong with modern day fans though, because he's only just been at the club a
yeah,
couple of months, and you give players opportunities and time, and you can criticize a player, but to boo a player that has only been at the club for
for a
not
year
that
or
long
so,
of a
yeah.
time, and he's adjusting to life. We've spoke about it on the last podcast episode, all the things he was dealing with outside of football.
Yeah, yeah.
To
A
boo
big
someone
shout out
like
to
that,
him.
it's crazy to me.
Yeah, it's mad. It's mad, and he's turned it around massively. I mean, like it's literally two separate players we've seen compared to when he first joined us and now. And he's arguably our most valuable player after Caicedo, probably, or just on par with Caicedo. So yeah, he's definitely got leadership qualities as well, and he helps our defense a lot. And he's chipped in with goals, like I said as well. Um, so yeah, long may it continue with Cucurella, man. Like I can't praise this guy enough. And even in the final, most recently, I thought he was flawless again in the second half, especially. But yeah, big shout out to Cucurella, man.
What's your thoughts, Theo?
No, I
Cook,
agree with it.
cook.
I agree with everything Dharmesh said. For me, he gets the praise and the love he deserves now. So I wouldn't really say he's unsung. Like all the pundits are now almost eating their words and admitting that he's the best left back in the Premier League, and that's why I've got him down for another category. Actually,
Oh, okay, yeah.
yeah,
Hold that
I just
thought.
had to get him in there. That's why. But see,
yeah.
it's weird because like, yeah. Sorry, go. What was that, bro?
I was just going to say I had to get his name down somewhere, so it's another category. But everything he said, yeah, I could just echo it so much because he's
Yeah,
been
yeah. That's why I had
fantastic.
to get him down in this category because other players that have got other things, I'm like, I have to get Cucurella in somehow. So I've just gone with him in this category. Yeah.
Got a question for you both though, because obviously we know that Malagusto has been filling in at left back. There's talk about Ben Chilwell and Renato Vega, for example, leaving the club, who's played left back before as well. If we sell both of those, potentially Malagusto could leave as well. We leaves us with one natural left back at the club. Do you think we need to bring reinforcements in, at least one as a signing in the summer? We do need to potentially look at, because I think with Cucurella, I think he's touch wood. He's one of those players that hardly ever gets injured, but I'm thinking more suspensions, red cards, or you just want to rotate him. We just spoke about Caicedo being ran into the ground potentially if we don't look after him as well. But the same could happen to Cucurella. I've come to you first, Theo. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like we've got a bit of a dilemma because we know that Vega, even if he stays at the club, he doesn't want to play left back. He
Yep.
wants to play
The
centre back.
midfield. Yeah.
Chilwell, I think, is going to be frozen now because his wages are too high, and he's going to be sent out either on loan again, or I can even see him with a bit of a Ross Barkley situation, have his contract terminated, perhaps. But yeah, that leaves us really short left backs, and I don't want to see Cucurella play every single game next season. There'll be games in between big Champions League fixtures. There'll be Tuesday, Wednesday fixtures in the League Cup and the FA Cup where we want to be resting Cucurella. I'm not sure if there's an academy player that can fill in left back occasionally. Maybe a Champong, or if we get Gilchrist back, if he can fill in left back. But I feel like those are very niche options. So it does leave us short for sure. And I can maybe even see us maybe getting some left back from La Liga or the Portuguese league. I know we officially announced Dario Asugo today as another midfield option. Whether he goes out on loan is still to be seen, but I definitely can see us maybe going for another left back. I feel like we were linked with a Celta Vigo guy last summer. I can't remember his name, but
we were.
There was a La Liga player that we were linked with. I wouldn't be surprised if rumours kind of are revived after this summer.
What about yourself, Dharmesh? Do you think that the same? Do we need to bring someone else in?
Yeah, I echo everything that Theo said. I mean, yeah, it depends on the situation with Vega and obviously Chilwell. I think Chilwell will probably make his move to Palace permanent. And then Vega obviously doesn't want to play in the position that we sort of want him in. But yeah, we should definitely look at a backup left back. I mean, it's not a priority at the moment, depending on the situation. But that's obviously just planning ahead and stuff. We'll definitely need a backup left back for Cucurella, or even someone to challenge him. Because at the end of the day, we want what's best for the team. And if there's someone out there better than Cucurella, then so be it. Bring him in.
Don't think there's many. I can't think of
There
many
isn't
other
many
left
now.
backs. I think even beyond the Prem, I know there's a lot of talk about Kirkes, but I don't think there's many other Premier League or European left backs I can think of the top of my head very quickly now that would improve our squad, what we've got currently with Cucurella.
Yeah, that's
Get
fair.
Marcus Alonso back. I'll get Marcus Alonso back for a year.
Where is he? Is he still
Why not?
playing? He must be playing somewhere.
He's at Celta Vigo, actually. He's scoring
Oh,
for fun
okay,
out
there
there.
you go.
Is
They've
he?
got him
Wow,
taking
okay.
they've got him taking penalties at Celta Vigo. It's
Okay,
amazing.
let's get on the phone. Let's get him back. But the next category, signing of the season. This is a big one. Darmish, take it first. You have this one first.
Yeah. So this might come a bit of a surprise to you guys. I don't know if you've gone for the same, but I've gone for Tosin as signing of the season.
It's a good shout.
Just because of the transfer fee, we obviously paid nothing for him from Fulham. He's got Premier League experience. And when he's had to fill in, to be fair, he's done really well for us. I mean, he scored some crucial goals. I mean, like for us. I mean, the two against Barrow were obviously the more notable ones, but even just generally, his one-on-one defending, his leadership at the back, I think has been solid whenever he's come in. It sort of reminds me of like Chalobah in the early days of the Chelsea career, where he used to fill in and then always used to put in a good performance, and no one would really speak on him or say anything. Just be like, yeah, he's a bit of a steady Eddie. But I think compared to the other players that we signed this season, I think Tosin's definitely stood out for me. Just because of the expectation for me, I didn't think he would set us alight in terms of elevate our defense to a level compared to say the attackers would for the attacking positions. But I think Tosin's definitely shown that he can stay another season. He can bring that sort of experience. He's the oldest player in our team, isn't he, as well? I believe so. Yeah, I wouldn't mind keeping him for another season. I think he's had a good season for us, and a lot of people won't speak on him, to be fair, because he's probably not a fan favorite, or he probably doesn't get that much like recognition for the type of person he is. But I think he deserves signing of the season at least, and I think he's definitely improved us defensively.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of fans do. I think appreciate what he's done. I think he's coming on a free transfer. There was obviously a couple of question marks about whether he was the quality that we needed, but he's come in and he's fitted right into the team. And like you said, he brings a bit of stability at the back. But Theo, do you agree? Do you reckon Tossin's one of the signings of the season?
Yep, I've got his name down as well as signing of the season, particularly for the reasons Darmesh mentioned. Free signing from Fulham. We didn't pay a penny for him. And every time we played these kind of like big physical teams like West Ham, Everton, Nottingham Forest, he's slotted in the field and often done really well dealing with the aerial threat of a Chris Wood, a Beto, a Falkberg, who was playing striker at the time. And yeah, he just seems like the type of guy who just gets the job done. Not really a flashy centre back like many fans want to see nowadays. But I think what I particularly like about him is everything we're hearing about the manager and the other players about what he does behind the scenes as well.
Yeah.
Not just on the pitch, but he is apparently a bit of a leader to the younger players. Behind the scenes, Conference League finals, these knockout games, he's the one kind of giving the team talks, giving some tips of advice to the younger players, the Farmers, the Colwells. So yeah, I feel like it's not so difficult because I also feel like it's what João Felix is, maybe Pedro Neto haven't really hit the ground running as we would have hoped, or maybe just haven't really got the game time or got loaned out in January like Renato Vega and Felix. But for me, Tossin's just been there all throughout the season, and like Darmesh said, I feel like we'd be silly to let him go this summer. I think we could do with him for at least another couple of seasons.
The only worry is, I think, obviously we signed him for a free, but there could be a bit of money to make from him now. And I think we know what this ownership is like. You know, they want to make as much money as they can, and they'll cash in when they feel they need to cash in, and that could be Tossin. I agree with you both of you though. I think he should stay. I think he's been like I said, he brings us a level of calmness to the centre backs. You know, again, not just the centre backs. You're looking at maybe a goalkeeper situation where, you know, the goalkeeper's not that confident playing out from the back, and if you've got someone like Tossin there alongside a Chalobah or Levi Colwell, he just brings a bit of calmness to that, you know, disorganized centre back partnership sometimes on the defensive line. So I agree with that. But I've gone with Pedro Neto as my signing of the season. a shock signing for me. I remember exactly where I was when it came in that we'd signed him. He almost came out of nowhere. I think it was 50, was it 50, 54 million? I think it was 54 million from Wolves. So, look, I mean, the fee is the fee, but I like the way he plays his football. And I think I was watching the overlap. I think I said to you, Theo, last week about when Thierry Henry was talking about, the wide wingers not wanting to take on their defenders, not wanting to sort of go on the outside rather than cutting in all the time. And Pedro Neto does that. He's one of those players that isn't scared to take the ball forward, try to make something happen, be a bit more creative. You look at Madueke, Jadon Sancho. I'm never confident when they've got the ball in those critical areas where they can run into a bit of space, test the fullback. They don't do it. They're more likely to pass backwards or, a safe pass, to Cole Palmer, whoever. Neto is one of those players that will want to drive into the box, make something happen. And it's a shame because even when Nicholas Jackson wasn't there, I felt like Pedro Neto was the only one that would create something going forward. And I remember saying the same thing about João Felix when he was here, that he unlocked something with a defense very quickly. Pace, agility, he's very good with the ball in tight spaces. And I think we need to see more of him next season. I think he's such a good player. You speak to Wolves fans, they were gutted when he left because he was such a key player for them, albeit when he was injured. And that's a big thing. We've kept him injury free pretty much most of this season, I think, if I remember correctly. So I want to see more of him. I think he's, I said the fee's the fee. 54 million is still quite steep, but I think he's got, I did write him down somewhere actually, he's 33 starts, 6 goals, 9 assists across all comps. So I think there's improvement there, 100%. But for me, he's someone that I can see unlocking a defense very easy, as opposed to Madueke or Nkunku, Jadon Sancho. I don't think they've got it in their locker to do what he can do.
Yeah, his work rate's unreal as well. Like, even the centre forward position he's played a couple of times as well. He's looked really sharp there as well. And I think the only thing with me is we just want to see more output from Neto. That's it. But then again, some of the crosses he puts in the box, I mean, like a hungry centre forward gets more goals and probably ups his assist level. But yeah, I definitely like Pedro Neto as a winger, and he definitely works hard for the team, and he's a team player as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing I'll say as well is the 2 players we mentioned. I mean, of course, you could pinpoint it to like lots of different moments across the season, but the Neto goal against Fulham at Craven Cottage and the toss-in block at Goodison Park against Everton are probably the 2 moments for me that won us the season. I mean, not won us the season, that got us top 4. Big moments. So yeah, they came from 2 of our summer signings.
Yeah, agreed. So next category, most improved player. I feel like this is where someone's going to have a Mr. Marco Correa in their category. So you can go first, Theo, if you want.
Yeah, I'm not going to repeat everything that Dharmesh said because he kind of like hit the nail on the head, but I'll go with Cucurella, just because he really improved for last season compared to the season before in the Graham Potter. And at times he was playing right back even. I remember a particular game last season where he was playing right back at Craven Cottage. Whereas this season, especially after his Euros campaign with Spain, I would say he's the best left back, arguably, and probably not just the league, but maybe even in the whole of Europe, I would say. He's really improved and he's chipped in with goals against United, against Leicester, against Wolves, against Brentford. That really helped us kind of mount a top 4 finish. And also, probably like Dharmesh also said, like really likable character around the dressing room, and one of our fans' favourite now amongst the fans as well. And it's just crazy to think that just over a year ago he was being booed by the home fans. He was kind of seen as a bit of a clown as well by fans all around across Europe. And I remember a time where I think the hair got in his face and he got beaten by a player. He was just kind of like a bit of a comical kind of figure, but now he's everybody's taking him seriously, and also fans really like to hate him, like Dharmesh said, and this just makes Chelsea fans love him even more. I don't know if you've seen a bit as a pantomime villain following, I think, the handball against Germany and for winning the Euros against England, but Chelsea fans, he's our pantomime villain and we love him. So yeah, for me, he's our most improved player. I can't really think of anyone else that's just kind of had that rise from 2022 to 2025 like Cucurella has.
But what's your? I agree with you 100%. I think he's certainly improved. I think he's found just the sort of understanding what the manager wants from him as well. I think sometimes that's, it's never easy when you're swapping and changing managers. He's had 3 since he's been at Chelsea. I think he had Potter, Pochettino, now he's got Maresca. So 3 managers potentially telling you how to play a role essentially in 3 different ways, or what they want you to do in that role in 3 different ways. So maybe just having a bit more of a solid we'll say solid manager, but just a consistent manager that's telling you the same thing, coaching you the same way. I think it's probably helped him along the way. But Dharmesh, who have you gone with? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, so I've echoed what I've said about Cucurella. Theo is definitely right, and you're both of you right about Cucurella. But I've gone for Enzo Fernandez as most improved player for me this season. I think he's looked a completely different player this season for us. He's added goals to his game now, and that's something that Maresca's worked on him for. And last season he got exposed so much last season in his position, all because of Pochettino. And the way that Poch was using him was completely wrong, I thought. Where times we see him in the striker position, a left wing position, and having him as like a or almost like a second striker, which obviously Enzo isn't. Obviously, he's more of a 8 or more of a Lampard-esque role, and that's what he's done this season magnificently. He's chipped in defensively. He's created a lot of chances for us. His passing's good, and he's come up with crucial goals, man. Really crucial goals. Look at the Tottenham game. Look at the Villa. I know we lost the Villa game, but look at the Villa game, away and home. We've obviously won that one. The Conference League final, he got us back in the game with that goal as well. And he's a leader on the pitch as well. That's something that we'd be screaming for as Chelsea fans is a leader who's someone who cares. And Enzo Fernandez definitely has brought that, and I think he's starting to show his worth now. He obviously hasn't been as good as Caicedo, Cucurella, but I'll maybe put him 3rd or 4th player of the season for me. For me, and I think there's definitely more to come from Enzo Fernandez, and that hernia surgery has definitely helped as well for him. And that's why I've gone for most improved for Enzo, just because of how he was last season. I still think he had moments last season, but this season he's taken it to another level, I think. And let's see if he can continue that next season. And he's one of my favorite players as well. So big up to Enzo Fernandez, man. And I know there was that stuff at the start of the season with obviously the racist chants and stuff like that, which obviously is a separate matter and stuff. And how we sort of dealt with that since then as well. It's been on the pitch.
I still think it's bad. I still think it's bad though. I think the fact that he's like, I still think it's bad. We need to highlight that bit, but I agree with you 100% that he's just got on with his football. The club have dealt with it internally as well.
Internally, in terms of on the pitch stuff, like this is purely on the pitch stuff. Like he's definitely improved in that, in the sense of getting goals now, and his finishing just looks better as well. Whereas before he'd take a shot and either P-roll to the goalkeeper or go to Rose Ed, but now he's more precise with his shooting. He's shooting more as well, and he's scoring a lot of Lampard-esque goals as well, like goals we used to see Frank Lampard score for us at times. So long may it continue for Enzo, man.
Yeah, I've gone with Enzo Fernandez as well. I think a lot of the points you just made there, Dartmouth as well, I agree with them. I think he's definitely shown some leadership qualities as well. But as he said, he's getting forward more. He's creating a bit more, creating chances for other players. He's linking up play better. He's able to advance a bit more forward now because of the way that Maresca's getting, whether it's Reece James or Caicedo, whoever's in that right back, to then drop into the midfield. So it's allowing Enzo to be a bit more unshackled, a bit more relaxed going forward, understanding he's got cover behind him. So I think next season will be very, very crucial for him, because I think, obviously the price tag was big, but I also think we need to see a bit more contribution in terms of goals. I know he scored some this season, but I think very much like Caicedo, if we don't bring in another striker, we're going to rely on the likes of Enzo, the likes of Caicedo, Cole Palmer next season to start contributing a bit more with goals, because we can't all fall on Nicholas Jackson. We don't know what role Liam Delap will play, whether he's going to be the first choice striker or the second string striker to Jackson. We don't know that yet. So goals are going to be needed 100%. That's what I think anyway. I'm not sure if you agree with that, Theo.
Yeah, I completely agree. I feel like a top quality player. Player now similar to Caicedo. We don't really mention the price tag given that he's really improved. I think there's links to Real Madrid and maybe even Barcelona. They're kind of interested in his signature. I always feel like these kind of South American players, Spanish-speaking players, there's always an appeal to kind of maybe move to Spain. So I wouldn't be too surprised if that materializes in a few years. But if he can add a bit more goals to his game and maybe play a bit more of an offensive role with maybe a Lavia sitting alongside Caicedo, with Enzo a bit more freedom, then I feel like he'll get those goals. But those goals against Villa, the goals against Liverpool, the goal against Tottenham, goal in the Conference League final just goes to show that he does have this ability in his locker, and almost a bit like Lampard, always that box to box kind of midfield aspect to his game as well.
Yeah, he always bursts into the box last second of the corner being taken, and that's what Frank Lampard used. You remember he used to be like this last sudden burst into the box, get on. I think he scored a header, Enzo, didn't he, recently like that? He just little dart into the box and score. So let's hope we see more of that. But I think we might have the same player for this next category, young player of the season. I think we might all have one player in mind. So Theo, start us off with this one.
We've all gone for Harvey Vale, haven't we?
I actually have.
I've gone for Tyreek George. I mean, I think the two shout-outs are Tyreek George and Ashampong, but I think Tyreek George just edges it for a bit more game time that he's played. The goal against Legia Warsaw, the goal against Fulham, which was so valuable for a push for top four. I just feel like he's really kind of cemented himself now into this first team. He'll be a regular now in the dressing room. He'll play a lot more over the Club World Cup and pre-season. Still to be seen, though, if he'll go out on loan next year or maybe if he'll stay at the club. But I still feel like a player that we mentioned, if we don't want to kind of tire out the likes of a Pedro Neto, a Madueke, a Palmer, then Tyreek George is the type of player that can fill in for these FA Cup games, these Conference League, not Conference League, maybe these Champions League games. If we do end up playing maybe a Red Star Belgrade or a Stade Brest, I mean, no disrespect to these teams, but these are the type of opposition that I'd be more than comfortable watching Tyreek George play against. And he showed at times that in big games against United and other ones that he can step up as well. So yeah, he's really. I feel a lot of people maybe were joking about saying he's just Saka's little brother or his evil twin at the beginning, but now I think he's a proper player as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I agree. I think I've got him as well. I've got him down as my young player. I think he scored on his debut for Fulham, didn't he? I think.
This is Premier League debut, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Debut, I think it was. Yeah.
So I've gone with him. What about yourself, Darmish? Who have you gone for?
Yeah, I've gone for Tyreek George as well. I mean, Achipon was the other sort of one I had in mind, but I think the significance of that Fulham goal, like, boys, can you imagine if had you not come on and not scored, like, or had you not scored that goal, like, made any sort of impact, where how the season would have turned out, had you not come on and stuff, it would have been crazy. But yeah, let's just hope we see more development for him. We'll, like Theo said, we'll hope to see him start FA Cup games, Carabao Cup games, and even some come off the bench in Premier League games. And yeah, I think maybe a loan would do him well, to be fair. Get
What do you reckon a loan would do for him in terms of, because I mean he's proven that he can play himself into a Premier League debut goal. He's played a lot in the Conference League. I'm just asking the question, like, in terms of what do you reckon? What would he benefit from playing? He's played pretty much a whole season with us.
I just think it's minutes, to be honest with you, especially if we sign a couple of wingers. I mean, where does that leave him in terms of his own development as well? Because I'd rather him go on loan and play minutes for, say, like a West Ham, or like, say, a Burnley, for example, or maybe a Sunderland, where you can sort of grow and develop, and then come back, hopefully, if like
that's the thing. A lot of players don't come back. That's the thing. That's my worry about sending a player like him on loan. It's just they get lost into this loan system.
Remember Alfie Gilchrist last season?
Yeah, exactly.
Right back, and he's gone to Sheffield now.
Tino Livramento.
Not a single Chelsea fan mentions his name. And I feel more often than not, when we send players out on loan, it doesn't work more than it does work. I think the only ones that it has worked, I can only think of maybe Lukaku at maybe a West Brom or a Villa. West Brom or Everton. But other than that, I can't really think of a successful player we've loaned out and they've come back and maybe really.
Loftus-Cheek, maybe. That's
Maybe at Palace, yeah, or
I
maybe
was going to say
Victor Moses.
Santos as well.
Andre Santos, yeah, still
Yeah,
to be
but
seen, to be
still
confirmed.
to
I
be
think
seen.
it's
To be seen.
yeah,
Yeah.
he'll do all right. It'll be fine for us. But no, yeah, I agree. I worry about sending players that we know have got a bit of quality on loan, because either they never come back or they get stuck in the loan system and then they're 32 and they end up like Gal Kakute. So, I don't want to see a player
Yeah.
who's got quality leave the club, and then
The club. Yeah. No, I hear that.
we need depth in the squad, and I think we're going to get rid of Mudryk. We still don't know what's happening there. Sterling will leave. João Felix will leave. There's talk today about Noni Madueke potentially leaving as well. So there's going to be game time for him. I don't think we're going to bring in 6 or 7 wingers this season. Obviously, we have other players that will come in 2027 that we've signed as well. But I think he should stay in the squad. I think him and Achiampong really need to stay in that squad and just develop. And that's what we should be trying to do, is bring, if we want to sign youth players, that's great, but let's send those youth players out on loan. These boys have come through the academy, and let's give them an opportunity as well. And they're good enough to play the first squad. They've proven that.
Yeah,
So
proven that, yeah. No, I hear
that. I think we've all done our young player of the season. I think, have we? I've got lost in
Yeah,
the
we'll pick Tariq George, yeah.
yeah. Right. Game of the season. I'll come to you first, Darmish.
Yeah, so this one was a bit tricky because I went for I was thinking about games that were entertaining. I was like, yeah, like I could have gone for that. Then I thought of games I was like, wow, there were good goals in this one. But I think for me, I've gone for a significant game in our season, which is Fulham away this season. That's my game of the season for me. I think just based on the context that I've gone with, not in terms of like entertainment or anything like that. I think in terms of the importance of the result, of that result, and how it transformed the second half of our season, and how it drove us to get Champions League and the Conference League. I mean, it wasn't pretty to watch at for most of the game. Like, I'll be real. And then until Jackson and Palmer sort of come off and stuff, that's when we actually play well that game. And then that's where Tariq George scores a great goal, and then Pedro Neto on the turn scores a phenomenal goal, and that sort of set us up for a great end to the season. And that was always going to be the defining moment of the season. That game, that had we lost that game, I think we would just crumbled completely. We would have finished where Nottingham Forest are at the moment, or maybe even lower. But now that we sort of solidified that win, a part of me was thinking, yeah, we can actually do this. Now we've beaten Fulham away. A lot of teams have lost at Fulham away. Like Arsenal didn't win there, Liverpool didn't win there either. So it's like for me anyway, the game of the season for me, I've gone with significance of the season. But I'm sure you guys will mention the other one that I'm thinking of in my mind. So I'll let you guys go with the next bit. Yeah.
It's a good shout though, Fulham. I think that was a decent game for us. But Theo, what have you gone with? What's your pick?
I mean, the logical pick's the Conference League final in Wroclaw, when it was obviously silverware involved at the end. But I still feel that first half was so dire and so kind of hard for us to watch as Chelsea fans. So, I've gone for a game just entertaining. I just felt like every time we were going to shoot, the game against Brighton, the 4-2 win against Brighton, I think back in September. I mean, Cole Palmer scoring 4 goals. It was just like an absolute masterclass from him. I just remember watching it and I'm thinking, like, we can finally just score for fun. And that was not something we were kind of used to as Chelsea fans. And it didn't come too long after the game against Wolves where we scored 6.
Yeah.
So it finally felt like this Chelsea team was just scoring, and we had a bunch of goals from different players in our locker, the likes of Madueke, Jackson, João Felix, Palmer. I mean, particularly Palmer. And then when he scored that free kick, I think, end of the first half, there was always talks on Twitter about all the records he'd broken, talks of him winning the Ballon d'Or as well.
Yeah, true.
And it was still a bit of a tricky game because we conceded 2 in that same half. But I remember when it got to half time and it was 6 goals in one half, and we were on the better end of that, scoring 4 of them. I was thinking to myself, this is going to be a cracking game. And then obviously the second half was a bit more calm. There was no goals. But yeah, for me, that was the goal of the season. And when you see highlight reels of our campaign, I think the Palmer free kick still steals the show.
It's a decent one. Decent game. Shame they knocked us out the FA Cup at the same time. Yeah. But I don't think you would substitute that for the Palmer goals and how he played that game. And it's a memorable game, 100%. I've gone with Chelsea winning against Spurs. 4-3. I think it was just before Christmas. So I think it was early December. And
That was part of the choice, that one as well.
yeah, we were two. I think we were 2-0 down after 10 minutes, weren't we? I think it was Kulusevski and Solanke, I think, with the goals.
Yeah.
We came back. I think it was 4-3, but I think Son's goal was pretty much the last kick of the game. It was like 90 something minutes
Last
into
of the
it.
game, it was consolation.
Yeah, so I think it was just one of those games. At that, thinking back to when we was at that time as well, you know, we were technically, you know, title challenging at that point in the season. So it was almost like it was a victory that we needed almost to kind of keep the momentum going through that busy, which should have been an easy Christmas run, which then turned into a really poor one. But it should have been that moment for us to go on and build a bit of momentum, and we just didn't do that. But I thought for me that was arguably an entertaining game, such an entertaining game, and it was almost reminiscent to the previous Spurs game when they were down to 9 men the season before. I think Jackson got the hat trick that game as well. So for me, that's the game that stands out. There's many others. I think Noah, again, I think we beat Noah 8-0. That was another game where we just scored for fun. The Conference League final was brilliant as well. So there's definitely loads of games where you can sort of think back and think, you know, how did we only end up with just qualifying for the Champions League and the Conference League as the trophies to walk away from? But, you know, I think next season we need to build on that and go again. I really do. I think we can do it.
We didn't speak about it during our goal of this season, but the Cole Palmer Panenka penalty in that game.
Yes. Cool as you like.
The audacity and the balls to take a penalty. I think was that to equalise or was that to maybe?
That was to lead. No, to equalise. No. It was. Oh, I can't remember now. Jeez. No, because Enzo made it 3-2, didn't he? And then Palmer's penalty made it 4-2.
It might have been the fourth goal, but I feel like who scored the first two?
Because Sancho made it.
Sancho, Palmer got then. So it was Sanchez, Palmer, Fernandez. Then it was second goal for Palmer. Palmer scored the pen when it was 4-2. I think
it was 2 pens. I think, wasn't it? He might have scored 2 pens.
He scored the 2 pens. Yeah,
it was 2 penalties. Yeah. The Panenka was obviously at 4-2. I didn't think he tried that at 2-2, but. Another game to mention was the Liverpool one at home as well. I thought that was another crucial.
They were on party mode.
Obviously,
they were party mode. Weren't
they were on party mode. But in terms of significance of our season, I mean, it was a huge game for us, and I thought we performed really well that day as well. And I think the game generally was good. The bridge was bouncing as well for that game. So, and even Villa at home, I guess as well. That was probably the last time I'd probably say where we were serious as so-called title contenders or pushing for Liverpool. I thought we played really well that game as well against Villa, and those are probably the only ones I can really think of.
Been some decent games this season. Hopefully we can see some more in the next couple of weeks with the Club World Cup. But as we end the podcast episode this week, the moment of the season. Been some really good moments, some really bad moments. But Theo, I'm going to come to you first on this one again. What's your moment of the season?
I've got two. I'm going to cheat slightly and share two. One of them is a bit more of a personal moment, and the other one's more of a Chelsea moment that happened during the season. I'll start with the Chelsea one, which Dharmesh covered just before. That's the Neto winner at Craven Cottage. I just felt like that was a catalyst for us to kind of spur on to get top four, and then the players started to believe, and the celebrations in front of the away end were absolutely wild. And it was a brilliant goal as well. And I feel like we all thought we were just out and dry into the gutters. And at half-time, when you were 1-0 down after the Iwobi goal, then a Tyreek George one, then a Neto one in injury time. So I think that was definitely my moment of the season. But a personal moment was when I travelled to Athens in October to watch Panathinaikos against Chelsea.
I thought he was going to say something else.
I mean, there's also Rawclaw.
No, not that either. Thiago Silva. Come on, that's got to be the moment of the season.
There he is. I still got the real memorabilia. I wanted to keep it a bit more Chelsea focused. So when I travelled to watch Panathinaikos against Chelsea in Athens in October, I've always absolutely loved Greek football. It has a special place in my heart. So to see Chelsea play against the team in the Greek league that I've always followed was quite special, and just a class away day, and it was a really nice tribute for George Baldock before kickoff. But unfortunately, he lost his life the week before. And it was just great to see both the Chelsea fans and the Panathinaikos fans unite for that moment. So yeah, and obviously Greek sunshine in October, highly recommend it. It was quite trippy coming back to the UK afterwards.
Yeah, can't beat it. You can't beat it at all. But no, it was good shout. I did think he was going to go for the Thiago Silva moment because that literally turned him into like a superstar celebrity for a while over there. But no, I think obviously, like you said, the fact of the players still wanting to play that game after what happened over there was something special for them as well. So it's a good pick, very good pick. Darmish, what have you gone with?
Yeah, so I've guess I've gone for the more obvious one, but then there's other moments I want to speak about as well. But yeah, I think for me the one that tops a lot is winning the Conference League. I think going to Poland, my first ever Chelsea European away day as well, and the first ever time I've seen us lift the trophy as well. So that's obviously gonna that's in. No, God, I need to reword that. First time I ever seen us lift a trophy in the stadium. And because there's so many finals that I've been to where we've lost and stuff, I've just been so depressed. But now, like, finally, I've broken that sort of like curse of like actually seeing us win the final and lift a trophy. So that was always special, and the trip itself was quality as well. Getting a photo with the Conference League trophy, seeing through the lads there and stuff. Obviously the vlog as well was probably the best vlog I've done. I can't lie for Roclo and stuff. And yeah, just seeing the hard work and the graft of the players winning the trophy, securing it and stuff. That was a moment, and also a couple of moments. I know it's weird because we actually didn't win any of these games, but I guess going to St James's Park the first time, going to Anfield, going to Old Trafford as well. These are stadiums that I've always wanted to take off and go to. So I know obviously the results didn't go well for us, but it was still a highlight to obviously visit those stadiums and soak in the sort of away atmosphere. And yeah, those are probably my moments. To be fair,
There's some good ones, some really good moments there. I think all of them have obviously different reasons for being the standout moments. But I think for me, the Conference League final was probably the standout moment. I remember we did a podcast at the very start of the season, and I think me and you both, Theo, said that, did we want to be in a Conference League? How would, we were going to win it, but did we want to be in it? And I think until you get to the final, you don't really understand how much you want to win a trophy. I think when you get there, you want to win it. So for me, the final, especially how we played as well, that start of that final, you did think, oh, here we go again a little bit. We thought, this is it. We're going to lose the final. The embarrassment's going to come. I'm going to have to turn my phone off. There can be no WhatsApps for the remainder of this week, but we turned it around, and I think the subs changed it for us. So I think that's a key moment for not just us as fans, but I think for that group of players. And I think them being so young, some of them never winning trophies before, never playing in European competitive tournaments at that level before. I know it's the Conference League, but even as a club together, they've never done that. So I think that should hopefully now give them the hunger, the drive to go on and win something next season, or want to try and do well in the Champions League, or go on a really good run again in the Premier League, and then hopefully sustain it this time and go on and try and push Liverpool, City, whoever it is at the top, to try and get the Premier League. So I think that should spur these players on to go and do that. I think they really need to just believe in themselves now, believe that they've won a trophy, and go out there and just think, we've tasted victory, we want it again next season. So that's my moment of the season.
I've got one last question for you both. I know it wasn't really in the agenda for today's call, but if you could give a grade or a mark out of 10 for this season, what would it be? Not from like an objectives point of view, but also just from a way when you've watched Chelsea and like the way we played and the joy or the emotion it's brought you as well.
I think it's been I think it's been better than some fans will probably say it's been. I think it's been about a 7 or an 8. If we were marking it out of 10, sorry, I don't know if you're doing it A, B, C or whatever, but out of 10, I would say it's probably borderline 7, 8, because I think the football hasn't been that bad. When you look back on it, the football hasn't been bad. It's been costly mistakes that have led us to lose games, but the football itself has not been bad. I think individual players could improve. But Maresca's come in, and to be honest to him, he was told to come in, win the Conference League and get Champions League football, and he's done that. So I don't think I can personally say that he hasn't done what he set out to do. And some of these players that we've spoke about, Cucurella, Enzo, Caicedo, Chalobah, even Lavia, he hasn't even spoke about him all episode, but those players have improved. Whether we want to like it or not, they've improved under Maresca. But what's your thoughts? What do you think?
For me, it's
Oh, go on, yeah.
Oh, go for it, Damesh. Go for it. No,
No,
go
that's
for
right,
it.
mate. You go.
I'll finish last.
Okay, yeah.
For me, it'd be. Oh,
That's right. You go, bro. You
there's
go.
a
You
bad
go.
delay.
You go. Go.
Yeah, I agree with Theo. For me, it's like objectives were met. So I'd have to go with like a 7 or a 7.5. But just purely for that moment, which I'm always going to remember, where it was a DJ at halftime and we were losing 1-0 to West Ham. It's going to drop to a 6.5 for me, because there's just been a few things that have really frustrated me around Stamford Bridge. And it just feels like the club's getting very Americanized now.
I thought we should talk about the football, though. Are we not just talking? If we're talking about the Americanizing things, then I'm going to drop it down to like a 5, because the fact that we're called CFC LDN now is pissing me off as well. I don't like that. Like CFC LDN, like you said, the Americanized ways, the DJ halftime, all of that. Yeah. I agree.
I don't know. I had it. But yeah, I'll go for a 6.5 to wrap things up.
What do you think, Darmish?
Yeah, I'll go for the same as you, Theo. I'll go for a 7. Just based on other Theo's sort of criteria and stuff, emotion, context, and everything. Football. I think it's been a good season for Maresca. I'd say I've got to class it as good. So good for me is 7 out of 10. For me, a great season would have been had we won the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup on top of what we've got so far. That would have been a great season for me. On top of Champions League football, that would have taken it to an 8 or a 9 for me. But my expectations at the start of the season were win the Conference League, get Champions League, and get a domestic trophy, whether the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup. And I still say that's a good season for us because the context of the season. So that's my sort of grade. And let's hope that Maresca can have a good transfer window, players that he wants, and build a team how he wants it, because he's done that right to. And people also forget as well, this is his first ever Premier League job as well. Like we've seen loads of Premier League managers who've had experience flop for us, and this guy's just come in with his first ever Premier League job. Not even like first job ever, his first Premier League job, where he's had no experience at all what it's like, and his second ever managerial job as well. So yeah, it's mad, but big up to Maresca, man. I'm definitely definitely a favourite of Maresca, and long may it continue for next season, man.
Let's hope so. Theo, Darmesh, as always, thank you very much. It's always been a pleasure to do a podcast, even though it's in an evening. I'm not used to these evening podcasts, as you know. But yeah, no, it's been a pleasure. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, share your thoughts, share your categories of your who you think has been the flop of the season, who do you think has had the goal of the season, the moment of the season. Let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like this video before you do anything else, and also hit the Linktree link in the description. And until next week, we'll be back soon with another episode. Thank you very much. We are done for the week.
Big up.